In the next examples, we're asked to write each polynomial in descending order of exponents, then give the degree of each polynomial, and classify each polynomial as a monomial, binomial, or trinomial. So, we have a collection of terms here. We notice that there are how many? 1, 2, 3. So right off the bat, we know that this is a trinomial, since there are 3 terms. Okay, so we are going to write this in descending order of exponents. Now, many people get the misconception that we're talking about coefficients, putting them in the order of their coefficients. But we're really talking about the order of their exponents. So here we have a 2, here we have a 5, and recall that this x right here is simply to the first power. So the biggest power that we have here happens to be the x to the 5th. So we then write negative 3 x to the 5th. We preserve the signs. It was negative, we kept the negative. The next biggest power is this x squared, and this is positive, so we will write plus x squared. And then the last term, of course, is plus x. So now we look here and we see we have written in descending order by power. So let's talk about coefficients for a minute. The coefficient of the first term happens to be negative 3. The coefficient is simply the number written in front of the variable. The coefficient of x squared here happens to be 1, but we don't typically write 1 in math. The coefficient for x is also 1. Again, recall that we don't typically write a coefficient of 1 or a coefficient of negative 1. So we've identified our coefficients. So now we will give the degree of each polynomial and classify it as a monomial, binomial, or trinomial. Well, we already said that it was a trinomial. So we know it's a trinomial. Now, when they talk about degree, they want to know what the biggest power is for your polynomial expression. And in this case, it is 5. So we can write, we have a 5th degree, since the power is 5, we have a 5th degree trinomial, since we have 1, 2, 3 terms again. So that's all you have to do to identify this. Looking at our next example, we will first write it in descending order. So again, the biggest power here is this 3. So I will write negative 2 x to the 3rd plus 4x. Now again, looking at the coefficients, the coefficient of x cubed is negative 2, and the coefficient of the 4x is positive 4. So now we're going to classify this by degree and whether it's a monomial, binomial, or trinomial. So we know that the biggest power here is the 3rd power. So we have a 3rd degree. And how many terms do we have here? We have 2, 1, 2. So it is a 3rd degree binomial, since there are 2 terms. So we have worked on some practice. Now recall that the degree refers to the highest power in that polynomial expression. And when you're classifying a polynomial, a monomial will have only 1 term, a binomial 2 terms, a trinomial will have 3 terms, and anything greater than 3 we just call a polynomial.